For field day, I have set up this time in the very back of the yard, all the way back. You can see it back there. It's my wife's garden right there in front of us. But I basically wanted to just set up in the yard and use this as testing, so I could make sure everything works and gets configured right and have it ready for starting tomorrow. It's kind of interesting that I have a antenna field in my backyard now. As you can see over there on the left, I hope, is the Buddy Stick Pro. It's set up for my POTA setup back here. And then the taller one right there is just a mast. It's a homemade mast. Well, let me rephrase that. It's a mast I bought, but the base it goes in is not homemade. Excuse me, is homemade. Basically put it together from some YouTube videos I saw. So obviously it's just PVC pipe sitting on the ground, and then got into the ground in 3 different spots. There's the Buddy Stick Pro. And that one is a Yagi. It's a 5-element Yagi that I'll use for 2 meters. I'll get some testing in of some wind link. So we'll see how that goes. And then my favorite one is from Chameleon. And as you can see here, it has a base that you put down and just roll a tire over. Put a little extra board in there so it was straight. None of my land back here is flat, not completely anyway. So I did that to adjust, but this is a 25-foot going up to a tactical delta. Basically, each one of those ends are 17 feet with a wire across the top. Usually at the top there, where the 2 rods come together, that's staked into the ground when I use it on POTAs or portable. But here, with that 25-foot, I can use that. So this is kind of obvious. That's in this Tennessee sun, that's my solar. And it is feeding into the power box right there. It has 2 batteries in it, one 100 milliamps and one 24. And the 24 is going over here. This is my POTA setup. All that's there is an FX CR4 and a little power amplifier that gets it up to 50. And the battery I usually use for that is this 12 amp hour. I have it there just to show, but currently it's plugged into the larger battery. It's plugged into the 24 amp hour, and the 100 amp hour is coming up this way to my favorite part. First HF camera I ever owned. I love it to death, and that's the G90. It's using a power amp that will take it up to 50 amps. And then I've been playing with this BHI. It has actually helped me pull some Q cells out of the noise, so it actually works. I have a dear friend who helped me make this. This is simply, as you can see underneath, is a wagon it can pull, fill it up. But he was able to, this is an old piece of fold-up wood that he used under his chair in his office. So we cut it to size, duct tape on the top and bottom where we cut it, and of course he has machinery to burn in the call sign of mine, microphone, and the birds there, because I'm also a Tennessee naturalist, which is why I love POTA so much. I just love being in the woods. And I forgot his call sign from Clarksville, but I saw him using this and I said, I'll give that a try. This here is simply my Anderson Power Pole goodie bag. Now we'll go over and look at the storage. I found this tent just in Walmart. Surprised me that it was built to attach to one of these 10 by 10s. And I think I might have had a larger 12 by 12, but I don't yet. I haven't measured it. So basically, I'm just using it as storage. There's some different stages of battery progression I've been at. The back one has 100 amp hour battery in it. This one has 24 in the middle. And this one, I love this one. It's so easy to carry, but it's 50 amp hours. And I actually use that a lot sometimes. I bring it as a backup. Over here is just a bunch of goodies and extras. The backpack is what I use for all my POTAs. I've done about 110 POTAs now in about 6 months. Every weekend my wife and I just love to get out to the parks. There's just a tripod, an extra chair. Back there is a goodie bag. Next to it is one of my other favorite antennas, the JPC 12. And that antenna bag there is from Chameleon. I love it to death. It has about 6 antenna systems in it, coils, verticals. And then the green box there, the hard case from Nanook, got it at an auction real cheap, so it was in great shape. I use that for the G90 and the amplifier because they're larger and heavier, and I use the backpack for POTA. Literally when we go to sites, especially you go to things like WMAs or areas where there's no picnic table, there's no nothing, I just pop the tailgate down, and as you saw there, I just popped the tailgate down, put that little chair on it, and everything is set up right there on the back. And I have done probably a third of those POTAs like that at WMAs in areas that just don't have anything but a little road for hunters. So this is my little setup. Let me show you the Delta V one more time. I love that antenna. Actually not a Delta V, a tactical Delta. The little 10 by 10 with all the stuff, and my antenna field. Kind of interesting. I grew up not knowing that all the antenna fields that we lived next to on Air Force bases, played baseball next to, did not realize my dad was in top secret security service and he was a diddy bop. Never knew that. When he died, my mom brought a box out of all his goods, all his military paperwork. And that was when I found out what he did for the first 10 years of his 20 years in was intelligence. He was a Morse code intercept operator. So Dad, here I am with my own antenna field, kind of sort of following in your footsteps, except for the Morse code part. So that's what we got. This is what I'll be doing tomorrow. So thanks for putting up with me, and we'll see you on field day.